I draw time, there is a little bit of venom in the position. Gosh.
And maybe, Jovanka, I mean, G-chess is such a good tool. You can check out the games from this position. And I know I've had this position myself from the black side against Jeffrey Jeong. And yeah, you're right. Patience is the key to this position because the queens at some point will disappear on this open line. The black knight from the center will get kicked back. It's roughly level. White maybe has the slight advantage, if anything, just because White has the first move. And there we go. Jan already retreats his knight from the center. The queens are about to leave the board. And patience on Magnus's part here just means getting the queens off and just trying to nurse a tiny, tiny advantage. But it's roughly level. Yeah. It's hard to foresee anything other than a draw in this game already.
A quick draw, or will it still take some time, though?
Well, I think there's no way to force the draw, and they can't offer a draw before move 40, right? So
luckily that rule's in place. The move 40 is the golden number.
Well, it could be kind of interesting because Tanya right now did an interview with Sergei Karyakin. So I think actually, even if some moves might be coming out, we're going to head down to Dubai right now to hear from someone that we now know is a helper for Jan Nepomniachtchi. Is this move something we should talk about?
No, White just taking the center with a pawn, Jan challenging the center, bringing out pieces. I think we'll just see some quiet maneuvering over the next few turns. So the nature of the position won't change too much. The queens will come off and then maneuvering.
Okay, well, let's go to Dubai to hear from Tanya and Sergei Karyakin.
We've got with us the 2016 World Championship challenger, Grandmaster Sergei Karyakin, who's part of Jan Nepomniachtchi's team. Sergei, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Sergei, tell us, you have just arrived in Dubai 2 days ago. I mean, in this modern era, you were, of course, helping online, but you decided to come here. How come?
Well, it was a suggestion from Magnus' team and Jan personally, so I thought that if they want me to come, why not? I will come and try to help.
Absolutely. And now you have been part of Team Nepomniachtchi. Things haven't gone your way. Sergei, what do you think went wrong?
Well, somehow we don't have luck in this match because Magnus was worse in game 2, he was worse in game 6, but which he won, and later on 2 last wins, it was just equal positions. So just somehow Magnus gets every single point he can, and Jan is just giving up the unnecessary, completely unnecessary points. But I hope the luck will come and Jan will win something.
You had a tweet yesterday with just one word which said insane, and that kind of summed up your reaction to what we were seeing with the move c5?
Yes, because I know Jan. We all know him, how good he is, and I know that even in blitz he will not play such move. So I believe it's not only about chess, but it's also some other things, maybe psychological things, maybe something else he should answer himself.
And Sergei, now Magnus mentioned that what happened in game 6 perhaps has a big role to play the way the match has shaped up. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I totally agree, because in the first part of the match, Magnus didn't get any advantage with White. He was clearly, he didn't know what to do, and in game 6 he was even worse at some point, and if Jan would take that pawn on b4, Magnus had to work for a draw very, very hardly, and I'm not sure that he would escape that position, and the match will be totally different. And with this luck, the match changed very much, and somehow Jan didn't manage to recover, or maybe something else.
Yeah, very interesting. Now, Sergei, you've been the only challenger who actually took the lead in the World Championship match against Magnus. Being part of Jan's team and with that experience, what was it that you brought to the team, or your contribution? What can you tell us about that?
Well, I tried to share my experience, but also you should understand that we have different style of playing, and Jan likes very dynamic positions, and Magnus and probably me at some point we are more positional, let's say, players. So it was just impossible to force Jan to play the chess which doesn't suit him. So he tried to be himself, but but at some key moments it didn't work. And of course, in the game 6, he could take on f6 with a queen and just make a quick draw, or in the game in Petrov after queen e1 he could play queen e7 and make a fast draw, or yesterday he could make a fast draw, but I mean, I don't know, somehow it's very unnecessary and disappointing.
The World Championship matches have this different dynamic. Magnus has mentioned himself that the pressure and the tension is so high. You've of course experienced it. Do you think that has a big role to play with these mistakes?
Yes, for sure, because it's a first match for Jan and it's a 5th match for Magnus, so he is much more experienced on this type of chess, of tournaments. So for Jan it was more difficult, and I know from my experience that when it's just 2 players, everyone is watching, everyone is looking at you very deeply, so it's more difficult.
And going forward, 5 games remain. What are your expectations from these 5 games?
Well, I just hope that Jan will show how good he can play chess. I mean, I understand very well that it's already very difficult to